Hello, it's Alana. I have a question for you guys that were raised in a religious home or are studying the scripture. How did Abraham know that that was the voice of God speaking to him? I would think that God would be consistent. He gave his commandments, and one of them was, "Thou shalt not kill." So why would that same God tempt Abraham into killing his own son? I don't think that God contradicts himself. And I think that people who believe that God does contradict himself are confused. In the same way, how did Jesus know that that was the voice of Satan who was tempting him in the desert, who said to turn these stones into bread because he had been fasting for 40 days? And then Satan asked him something interesting. He took him to the top of the highest temple and he said, "Throw yourself down off this temple to prove that you're the Son of God, because God will save you." And he said, "You should not tempt the Lord your God." So how did Jesus know that was the voice of Satan? Probably because Satan was asking him to do things that were contrary to the law of a loving God. And also think about that. What if Jesus had thrown himself down? And because he had followed the temptation of Satan, he wasn't saved. And what if an angel hadn't intervened when Abraham was going to stab his son to death on the altar? Because it was an angel that stepped in. So allegedly God told him to kill his son, and then an angel stepped in and said, "Stop, don't do that." So if God ordered him to do that, why would an angel step in and stop him from doing it? Why didn't God himself step in and say, "Hey, I'm just joking, don't do that"? So yeah, there's just themes of scapegoating, cruelty. I think the biggest question for me is, or the biggest takeaway, I guess, is perhaps Abraham wasn't able to discern the voice of God from the voice of Satan, and Jesus was able to discern the difference. I think that's maybe what we can take away from those stories.